I get a lot of requests in the comment section for car reviews, but the most requested of late has been the Volkswagen T-Cross. Will this VW T-Cross SE live up to its recent popularity? Time for us to find out. Let's do this. Hello guys, I'm Reagan and welcome back to another car review. If you're new to my channel, I hope you click that subscribe button for your regular dose of Philippine automotive content. If you're my subscriber already, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Oh yeah, and click that like button. Also special thanks to Volkswagen BGC for providing the Volkswagen T-Cross to do this review. If you are near the area and you have a need for a Volkswagen, check them out here at Volkswagen BGC, or if you have any inquiries, you may contact their hotline in my details below. Volkswagen is one of the largest car makers in the planet and is popular in a lot of countries. Think Toyota levels of popularity and sales. However, the Volkswagen lineup in the country only consisted of sedans before, hence the brand suffered in our SUV and crossover crazy country. Well, Volkswagen Philippines has finally corrected that error because they brought in the Volkswagen T-Cross, which is the latest and smallest crossover available from the giant car maker. This top-spec T-Cross SE we have here has a retail price of 1,198,000 Philippine pesos, making it the most affordable German crossover available today. The T-Cross is a global vehicle, but the models we get here have features that appeal more to the Asian market. The front bumper of the T-Cross gets this trendy matte aluminum trim here that surrounds the fog lights. This top-spec model also gets LED headlights and LED DRLs. But when you look at the front fascia of the T-Cross, it is still very much a signature Volkswagen front fascia, except, well, it exudes more of a youthful and trendy vibe to it, especially when you get it in this color. From the side, it's easy to mistake the T-Cross for the Tiguan. It shares the same silhouette and side profile as the larger Volkswagen crossover. Now, when you look at the front fender of the T-Cross, you get the same front fender garnish that can be found in the Volkswagen Lamando. It also has the same body lines that are found in that executive sedan. However, the doors of the T-Cross, when you open it, are heavy. You could really feel the heft of this thing. And that shows you the reinforced body structure of the T-Cross, which gives it more safety. Now, the doors also close with a satisfying thud. And speaking of safety, guys, well, the Volkswagen T-Cross has scored 5 stars in the Euro NCAP safety testing, making this vehicle one of the safest crossovers available in the local market today. Now, the T-Cross also gets heated side mirrors here, and for wheels, we've got 17-inch alloys that are wrapped in 205/55 R17 tires. Behind those wheels, we get 4-wheel disc brakes, and for your suspension, we have a MacPherson setup in the front and a rear torsion beam at the back. Now, the ground clearance stands at 180 millimeters, which is kinda low, but it's still decent for a city crossover. The rear end of the T-Cross is striking, to put it mildly. There's a black bar that stretches the entire width of this rear end, and it connects the two blacked-out LED taillights together. Now, this is a departure from the usual clean and bland Volkswagen rear ends that we've seen in the other VW models. Now, some people might like it, while others don't. But we can all agree on one thing. This will definitely call your attention. Now, maybe that's what Volkswagen needs. Design elements that break out from the norm and show off their more youthful character. Now, when you pop open the manual liftgate, the T-Cross will give you 385 liters of trunk space, which is good enough for one medium-sized luggage, plus a lot of small items on its sides. Now, if more space is needed than 385 liters can allow, well, you can tumble down the back seats, and that will give you 1,319 liters of cargo capacity. Now, for a subcompact crossover, that is actually a pretty large space. The T-Cross is equipped with a 1.5-liter 4-cylinder naturally aspirated gasoline engine that can put down 111 horses and 145 Newton-meters of torque. Now, the power is sent to the front wheels via a 6-speed automatic transmission. Now, judging from those torque figures, I could already tell you that the T-Cross would likely be more of a cruiser rather than a sprinter, but then Volkswagens have been known to surprise me before, so let's see if the T-Cross can surprise me as well in our drive impressions later on. Now, if there's a value crossover that has an Instagram-worthy cabin, this would be it. The Volkswagen T-Cross continues with its youthful character right here inside. We get splashes of color all over your cabin in the same shade as the body, and I must say, guys, I am digging this look. It reminds me to just take it easy, to have fun, to stop taking life too seriously. Now, the dashboard, the center area here, even the housing of your door handles all carry that happy theme. Now, when you look at the seats also has a groovy design to it because we've got an off-white leather material right here on the sides of the seats, but the center part is gray cloth to make sure that if you park the T-Cross under the hot sun, well, your bum and your back won't get too hot and sweaty. Now, the steering wheel is, well, unfortunately, it's not a leather-wrapped steering wheel, although it is a quick aftermarket fix. Now, this wheel is just urethane, but we do get buttons here for hands-free connectivity as well as cruise control. Now, that is a welcome surprise. The steering wheel also adjusts for tilt, and it also telescopes, so that means that taller drivers will have an easy time getting the perfect driving position. Now, when you go to your instrument gauge cluster here, we have an analog gauge cluster with a digital multi-information display in the middle for your vital vehicle information. Now, I would have loved it if the multi-information display were in color, but at least it is still serviceable. Now, when you move to the infotainment system, we have here a 9.2-inch touchscreen infotainment system that has Apple CarPlay and Mirror Link for smartphone mirroring when you use an Android phone. Now, the infotainment system also houses the image for your reverse camera. The top trim SE gets a reverse camera here. And when you go down to your climate control system, we have here a manual climate control system, which is, well, it's not really a big issue. Now, when you go down further, you have here your nice metallic engine start-stop button, plus an actual manual handbrake and a couple of cup holders, which we will subject to my clean canteen tests. Now, the cup holder up front is a little bit small, so it won't fit my clean canteen, but the cup holder at the back perfectly passes that clean canteen test. So that's so nice of VW to give us different size cup holders. That means that if you have different size drinks, it's not going to be an issue. Now, as I said, the cabin of this thing is super colorful, and unfortunately, in order to achieve that, well, we are surrounded by plastics. Now, this is colored plastic on the dashboard. We also have colored plastic here in the center tunnel, even the one surrounding your door handles. Now, this is a very cost-effective way to achieve this nice and groovy look, because can you imagine if this were colored leather material? Now, that would cost an arm and a leg. Now, granted, even if it's plastic though, the dashboard material and the door cards are on the soft touch side, so at least it's a decent quality plastic at that, but well, it is still plastic. However, the fit and finish of the cabin of this T-Cross is tight and as expected from a Volkswagen that is a global model. The T-Cross may be the smallest Volkswagen in the lineup, but its emphasis on a long wheelbase means that we get a ton of space here, even in the back seat. At 5'6", guys, this is my driving position, and I've got a whopping 8 inches of knee room here and around 5 inches of headroom. Now, 3 average Asian adults would fit comfortably here on the back seat, making the T-Cross perfect for young and starting families. Now, the fact that we also have a panoramic sunroof in this top spec trim adds more to that feeling of space here at the back. Now, the rear passengers would also be comfortable because we've got 2 rear AC vents here and a couple of USB charging ports, a USB-A and a USB-C for all of your devices. Now it's time to take this T-Cross out for a spin just to see if it's as fun to drive as its looks would suggest. Okay guys, we're now driving the Volkswagen T-Cross SE, and right off the bat, I could tell you that this is one of the easiest crossovers to drive. You see, we've got a nice and tall sitting position here, which means that I've got a good view of the road up ahead. The visibility up front is really good, and the visibility on the sides is also stellar. So this Volkswagen T-Cross would be quite an easy daily driver. Now when it comes to the steering feel, well, true to its easy-to-drive nature, the steering is on the light side and a little bit artificial. It's not as good as the steering feel of the Lamando or the La Vida, but well, those are sedans and this is more of a relaxed, easygoing crossover. Alright guys, we're now going to try the acceleration, and as expected, well, this has a naturally aspirated engine that can only do 111 horses. So it's not really the best sprinter in the category. But the 6-speed automatic transmission does a good job in bringing the power down low. So if you're just going around town like what we're doing now, this is going to be quite a decent performer. That being said, when you're going to do an overtaking maneuver, well, you have to plan your passes quite carefully because it takes some time for this thing to build up some speed. It desperately needs a sport mode, or better yet, a turbo. But the fact that we have a naturally aspirated motor here in this T-Cross means that the engine's durability and longevity would also be longer than your usual turbocharged engines. Building up speed in this thing is an exercise in patience, guys. But yeah, if you're the type of person who likes to drive leisurely and go around in a relaxed pace, well, this T-Cross would fit the bill. The main reason behind that is, well, as I mentioned, the T-Cross has been awarded with 5 stars in the Euro NCAP safety testing. So that means that you have a full suite of safety features, as you can see right here on the screen. Now, that makes the T-Cross a safe car to drive, and couple that with that, well, with that engine that just likes to go on a leisurely pace, and you have a vehicle that is perfectly safe for your families. Now when it comes to the NVH though, in this short test drive that I've done, I've taken it to some roads that are not so perfect, and I get some vibrations that are transmitted inside the cabin. Well, that is to be expected, especially in this value crossover space. But the good thing though is the noise, the environmental noise outside, doesn't really make its way here inside the T-Cross cabin. So the comfort of the cabin is also pretty good. The air conditioning is quite cold. Granted, of course, this is a brand new unit, but I am pretty sure, being a Volkswagen, that this thing will remain comfortable and durable for many years to come. Well, overall guys, as fun and as quirky as the looks and the cabin of this T-Cross is, well, its driving performance leaves me a little bit wanting. You see, if you're after the space, the safety features, and the tech, well, and of course the looks, well, this T-Cross will deliver. But if you're looking for something that is a little bit more engaging to drive, well, the good thing there is Volkswagen has these vehicles in their stable, namely the La Vida or even the Lamando. The Volkswagen T-Cross puts together a great safety suite, tech features, and a lot of space in a colorful and vibrant package. It has the looks that turns heads and a cabin design that will put a smile on your face every time you go out for a drive. As long as you prefer slow, leisurely drives around town, well, the Volkswagen T-Cross would fit the bill. But if you're looking for something with a little bit more driving oomph and engagement, well, you may want to look elsewhere. The Volkswagen La Vida actually comes to mind. Anyway, thanks for watching.